5 years ago, I did the equivalent of walking to the bank, pulling out a wad of $7,500 in cash, and finding the nearest, tallest rooftop I can find within the area and throwing said cash off the edge of the building. However, this decision completely changed the trajectory of my entire life. I'm about to tell you a story on how it can change yours. For years and years and years and years, I tried every business model you could possibly imagine. Dropshipping, marketing agency, affiliate marketing, Amazon FBA, you name it, I've done it, I've tried it. And I've been aggressively unsuccessful with every single business model that I just mentioned. However, upon reflection and spending a lot of time with a lot of the guys in the space that actually do this stuff for a living, every one of those business models that I just listed absolutely works. But there was one thing that I was missing to actually make any of these business models work. And it wasn't lack of education or strategy, because I can assure you, I'm about to tell you that here in a second, that wasn't good either. But the one true key difference and the one biggest thing that made the biggest impact on my ability to make my first dollars online and basically make it to where I am today is one word: commitment. When I worked with my first mentor, it was about $7,500, and it was probably one of the worst pieces of information that I could have gotten. Education, strategy. I didn't learn anything about sales skills that I know now, networking, interviewing, any of that type of stuff, how to navigate the industry. I pretty much did a lot of that myself in the beginning and then found some better mentors a little bit along the way. But even when I started working with my first mentor, I remember I put $500 down because I was so scared to spend money on something that, I've never done something like that before. And for a lot of you watching, you probably haven't either. And that's a very difficult thing to do. And I was very scared. I was very fearful. Even that $500, I thought that the world was going to end if everything went wrong. He actually made a very generous weekly payment plan, where I actually ended up paying the training over a couple months or something like that, where, again, I didn't put a lot of money up front, but it was the commitment in my mind, in principle, that I have committed to paying this man $7,500 to learn a skill and get better at what I wanted to do, because I had no other choice. And for me, the thing that was missing in the past was I did maybe $100 course here, a couple $100 course there, or just gleaming across free information, free courses, all that type of stuff. And the biggest thing that was missing was actual effort and actual commitment. A lot of people say that they're committed to their goals, but I can guarantee you're not nearly working as hard as you need to be to get to where you want to go. For years, I literally did nothing but worked. I had parties here and there. Obviously, I was an average 18, 19-year-old. Sometimes, of course, it's going to happen. But for the vast majority of it, I was working all the time and investing every single dollar that I had back into myself, because I knew that I had to make this work. And call it blissful ignorance, I don't really care. I had an absolute delusional faith that I was going to make this work. Even I thought that the mentor that I worked with originally was the bee's knees. I thought he was amazing. I thought what I was doing was great, but I only found out everything that I was missing about a year and a half, 2 years actually into the journey. But coming back to my main point, I've spoken to many others, not just myself, my own personal experience, but many others who initially, when they got in the industry, they spent thousands of dollars on the wrong mentor. And yes, they didn't get the information that they needed. Yes, it wasn't a good strategy. Yes, it wasn't a good mentorship. Yes, they didn't get the support they needed. But the thing was, they still made it work. Why? Because of commitment. A few years ago now, my mentor told me a story about him and his brother when they were running a business consulting practice, helping coaches and consultants grow their business. And they wanted to test the thesis of commitment. They wanted to see how much of a difference it makes when someone invests more of an amount into themselves. And so they ran the experiment. They basically sold the same product, service, or solution to a bunch of people. They sold someone at 5K, 4K, 3K, 2K, 1K, all the way down for free. And what the result, basically at the back end of that, was that the person that paid the most got the best result, and the person that paid the least, aka free, got none. The reason why is coming back to that same element of commitment. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Some people do not have the right mindset for this, right? I've seen a ton of people, a ton of programs in my years selling for the past 4, nearly 5 years full time, especially for other companies, where a lot of people will just pay the business money and not really do anything. There are definitely those factors at play. But from my personal experience and from others' personal experience, what I've gleaned and what I've seen is that when you make that commitment, when you put that money forward, you know that you will make it work, at least for the vast majority. You need to understand, even though when I worked with my first mentor, it was bad information, it was bad support, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Basically, in my mind, I was always trying to get that ROI back. I'm trying to get my money back. I'm trying to get my investment back, right? And this is what I see is very much often at play with all the guys that invested with me inside the RSA community. Whereas, for example, when someone pays in full, I see a very direct correlation to the results that they get. Because when you see that loss, that large amount being lost in your account, you are automatically just that much more kicked into gear, and it makes you that much more committed. Now, again, some people have this, some people don't. But if you're anything like me, when I put thousands of dollars towards something, I want to get my ROI back. And this was the key difference between me getting no results and getting results. It wasn't just the lack of information. It wasn't just the right information or being kicked in the right direction. It was simply a lack of commitment. And this is why I see most people fail with their business or whatever they're doing to try and make money online. Lack of commitment is directly tied to lack of effort. The amount of lazy people that I've seen that have expected results from these programs, yet they have done literally nothing to deserve that result is just, I've just seen it all too much. And you must understand, if you're going to give a handful, a wad of cash about, like I spoke earlier, you have to understand that you're responsible for your results. And when you make that key transition, that change in identity, that change in thought process, that way of thinking, that is when you'll watch your life change completely. Now, of course, you don't have to go through the same process that I did. You don't have to spend $7,500 on mentors. You don't have to spend $55,000 like I've spent on my own sales education training directly. You can learn directly from the source that has been there, done that, and has experienced what you want to experience. Now, you don't have to go through what I endured. You don't have to waste the time that I wasted. You don't have to spend the money that I spent, which is about $55K on sales training, by the way. There is a solution. If you want to work with me or my team in the RSA Mastermind community, there's a link down below to book a call. You can fill out the form in Calendly and you can see if you're a fit. What we do is absolutely not for everybody, but my whole goal with the RSA Mastermind and why I've created it and why we've got so many results from it is strictly because it's working from experience. It's working from someone who's experienced the transformation that you're trying to experience better than anybody else, than 99% of the industry at least. And to be honest, we've just seen some amazing results from it. You don't have to pull out $7,500 in cash and throw it off a building and burn it just like I did. And nor do you have to spend $55,000 like I have collectively on my own sales training, development, and skills. And nor do you have to waste years trying to figure out this game. So if you're interested and you want to learn more about how we can help you, there's a link down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.